तो यहाँ पे अनुभव जी यहाँ पे
चलो भी
हाँ अभी बुक रिलीज
लेट्स गो इसके लिए आए
चलो
अमित खन्ना जी मुझे नजर आ रहे हैं दूर से अमित खन्ना जी हेलो जी हाउ आर यू ओके सर मैं जाऊँ
Good evening and a warm welcome to all the customers, members of Landmark, members of the media, and all the avid readers who have joined us with your valuable time this evening. Thank you very much for being part of the book launch this evening, Once Upon a Star. But as you take a look at the Star book, I'm going to request you to kindly draw all your attention to the table where we've got our own superstars. Please put your hands together and receive the author to the title in Gajra Kotari and our very special film personality who needs no introduction in Mr. Anupam Kher. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'm first going to take the opportunity for the benefit of those of you who would like to know a little bit more about the works of Gajra Kotari. Gajra is a multimedia writer. Her first collection, Women-Centric Short Stories, Fragile Victories, was published in 1996. It was followed by another collection, The Last Laugh, in 2003. Collins, the publishers in India, in 2011, to critical acclaim simultaneously with its Hindi translation, Bikhre Sur. Gajra has written television series like Hamare Tumhare and many more, even the nation's most popular daily soap, Balika Vadu, and something very recent, Buddha and Veera. Recipient of many awards, too many to mention right now, she was also with the script associate for Mahesh by Tanuja Chandra. This is her second novel, and all the very best for Once Upon a Star. And for those of you who definitely are eagerly looking forward what you're going to find in the book, I'd like to lead you on with just a few glimpses. Yes, from the book Once Upon a Star, there is much unrest in the Vardhan home to one of the most important film families. Raj, the superstar, has decided to leave his wife Simran for the reigning queen of Bollywood, Sia. Simran, former actress, now out of shape, down in the dumps. Her in-laws dote on her but can't seem to dissuade their son. Besides, their only daughter, Ashima, has walked out of an unhappy marriage and returned home to announce she wants to be an actor. They have their hands full, and in the midst of all this, Raj and Simran's children, they suffer the news of their father's alleged affairs, timeless and relentlessly. How is Simran ever going to seek out happiness and perhaps love as well in this dark maze of rejection? A saga of love and betrayal and the quest for one's true identity. Gajra Kotari's new novel gives an insider's view of the world of cinema and the many faces of the industry where fame is fleeting and everything is as real as it is dramatic. I'm going to pause here and leave you to catch on with the story exclusively and lively, but for the moment, may I invite our guests at the table to get their hands on the cover. Let's unwrap and unveil Once Upon a Star by Gajra Kotari. So here's looking forward to Once Upon a Star with Mr. Anupam Kher doing the honors along with the author. All the very best. Congratulations, Gajra. And here it comes to you, authored by HarperCollins. Certainly a very promising Bollywood family saga from one of India's most well-known writer of TV serials. Here you're going to find it as a second novel in print from HarperCollins. All the very best to Once Upon a Star. Members of the media will request to kindly stay stationed at your places. I'm going to firstly hand it over to the author, Gajra, to share a few words this evening.
very good evening to all my respected seniors, friends and members of the media. A very big thanks for making it in the midst of Mumbai traffic on a working weekday evening. I know how tough that is. Once Upon a Star was not supposed to be my second novel. I had a novel written and sent to the publishers in the editing stage 2 years ago. Over a casual lunch where we were supposed to discuss the first few edited pages, Meenakshi is smiling already. Meenakshi, my editor, who became great friends with me at the time of my first novel, she and I were having a lazy lunch and discussing what were the stories that fascinated us. Hopefully should be my third novel. She said, put that aside and let's work on this one, because this one is really something very nice. I reacted to it in a very mixed manner, and I said, okay, I'll think about it. And after she left, I spent some time really wondering whether there was something to what she was pushing me to do. I realized then that like a lot of well-educated, somewhat well-educated people, I was somehow being a bit of a hypocrite in questioning myself as to whether I'd like to set a story in the so-called ephemeral world of films, which like so many of us educated Indians, we keep perceiving Bollywood as being flippant, frivolous, something which doesn't have much substance sometimes, only glamour, no substance. So with these thoughts, I questioned myself, and then I realized that it was what I would want to make it. It's not how it is perceived. And I didn't want to be a hypocrite anymore. I was curious about how Bollywood stars lived and thought. What were the masks they wore? How were they at home as husbands, fathers, wives, daughters-in-law for that matter? So in this unmasking, I slowly discovered the story layer by layer of Once Upon a Star. And into it, as I went along, delightfully, I was able to also weave in one of my favorite thoughts. Way back in college when I was wanting to get into journalism, I wrote an article on how women in entire South Asia, whether it was India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, all of them actually came unto their own. They became women of substances only after the loss or breakup with their husbands, or in some cases with the fathers. In other words, can a woman only discover her truth, strength and identity in the absence of the man of her life? This was one of the favorite topics which I wanted to research. I had begun to do it, but I left it somewhere in between. But as I wrote Once Upon a Star, I think it sort of just wove itself into the story. The fact that in a place like Bollywood, as we call it, where the glare of media is merciless, where every twist and turn is commented upon, is documented, and it's for public consumption. In a place like that, if there is rejection which a woman faces, if there is a kind of humiliation that she faces, how does she put her life together and stand up again? Is it even possible? So these were the various thoughts behind Once Upon a Star. And I think what I owe to Anupam is the fact that he's virtually the only film person whom I know. And when I thought of film people and whether they were frivolous, whether they had depth, it was he who came to my mind and made me realize that, you know, having depth as a human being, you could be unintellectual, you could be not so evolved, you could not be speaking clipped English for that matter, but film people do have a lot of depth if I go by what I learnt being with him and knowing him as a family friend for 15 years. So I enjoyed writing Once Upon a Star. I, however, in all humility, hope that the readers enjoy reading it also. And a big thanks to a lot of people. I know it's sometimes very boring to hear, but I have to do it now. I don't want to leave it for the end. Apart from my editors, Meenakshi and Vinita Ramchandani, I think family first, which is going to embarrass my husband, but he's been a knight in shining armor and an ever-ready battery rolled into one when it has come to this book. He's been very supportive. Family has been very supportive. Anupam has always been the first reader of whatever I have written, and his encouragement has really made a difference to my entire approach to what I have written, especially when it comes to books. So I'm very thankful to him. I'm thankful to my Colors Parivar, which has gone all out to promote this book, my colleagues Purnendu, Rahul, Deep, and so many others. And last but not the least, to all the people who put a beautiful trailer together for my book, right from director Rakesh Bakshi to my 3 actors, Advait Kothari, Meenakshi Jain and Raksha Shetty. All of them have contributed very lovingly and affectionately to this product, which brings out what the story of Once Upon a Star is all about. Thank you so much. I hope we have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rao. All the very best to your effort and the release of the book. I am now, without much ado, going to hand it over to Mr. Kher to lead us in conversation. Thank you very much, Mr. Kher, for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm here, as Gajra has already mentioned, that I know them for the last 15 years. My faith in Gajra as a person comes first, then her as a writer. So if I trust or have a faith in a person, automatically I perceive the book or anything that they do from that point of view, and for that reason I'm very happy to have known you and your husband, who's your knight, knight in the
shining armor.
Oh my God, Sailesh, that's
He's
fantastic.
already,
Yeah,
and he's going to fight with me.
And there is Mr. Firoz Khan. Namaste, sir. So Firoz sahab, आप आगे बैठिए ना, ऐसी क्या बात है? So basically, when I read the book, for me it's a story. It's a story which I don't read as a biographical thing or as anything else. For me, it's a wonderful story of the liberation of a lady, of a woman. It's a book about courage. It's a book about coming to terms with life. It's a book about lots of things, and in that respect, I think it's an interesting book to read and to publish, and to also launch the book today. There are so many questions which I have had no time to ask Gajra, but today I can ask related to this book. Suppose you had said to Meenakshi that no, I want to continue with my second book as second book and not make the third book as my second book. And suppose they had said, no, then we will not publish your second book. Is there a publisher's pressure that came onto you?
Not at all. No, it was a very creative pressure, but there was no publisher's pressure at all. They would have published my other book. They're too nice. They're not like industry people.
Which industry people are you talking about?
We don't have swords over our head when it comes to publishing. That's what I love about it.
I'm sure a lot of writers will not agree with you but I think there are nice people in all industries.
Sure.
And there are not so nice people in all industries. I think we cannot sort of club people in industries.
Sure.
So did you write this book because you thought this had more mass appeal? Because you're writing about film stars and their lives, and we will have more people to read this, because there are so many authors in this city who have made their name by writing about film stars and all those kinds of things that the film stars indulge in. Do you think this was an easy way to become more popular?
Well, the temptation to make...
Sorry, my questions are not going to be very easy questions. This is what I want to know.
Okay. The temptation to write in a more popular setting was definitely top of my mind, because my first novel was set in a very, very niche setting. It was a classical musician's house in the 70s. So you couldn't get more niche than that. I wanted a more popular setting, but certainly it wasn't films to start with. However, as I went along, I felt that this was something very new for me, and I would get to tell the story my way. So I don't see any harm in choosing a popular setting. That's what we do all the time. I think script writing teaches you to respect what viewers and what readers want, and yet try to give them something which is of substance. So in that sense, yes, I was very happy when I was convinced that I could tell a good story in a popular setting.
So how much of this book is based on your imagination, and how much of this is based on some reality?
It's definitely full of characters who resemble real characters, because I don't see anything wrong in doing that. I mean, it's akin to even when a plane flies thousands of miles above into the sky, like a flight of imagination. You still need that runway, you still need that base where you will taxi before you take off. So I couldn't have written in a vacuum. I did collate and collect all the stories that I had grown up reading and hearing about, and tried to give it my interpretation. And as